We're moving on to the public comments portion of the meeting. The first one on the list is Rick Campbell Sr., but Rick, your topic says Constitution.
Or resolution.
Resolution, okay.
On the resolution, there's already a law on the books in the state of Tennessee that supersedes the resolution, okay?
Which resolution is that?
One where you're wanting to limit people to speak,
Okay.
okay? And another thing, I feel just as much certain as you all do. I know there's people up there carrying guns. I was let out by Ronnie Lawson at the other meeting. If I'm gonna have to leave mine home, that means you all do too. It's that simple.
Is that it?
Yep, that's it.
All right, thank you. Rick Campbell Sr. All right, Bernadette Pager on 2023-1106.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, Bernadette Pager, about the rules of order for Hawkins County. In section G, it will change notification about meeting from 3 days to adequate public notice. And I feel like that amount of time is too vague, and I'd like to see more concrete parameters. Everybody's idea of adequate public notice may differ. In section C, I'd like to see included in the existing policy that you all have, that prior to the start of the meeting, we will be asking the commissioner if they will call on us to speak on a subject not on the agenda. I'd like to see them written in the rules. I didn't see it in there. As far as section X, which is, I think, has a lot of people concerned, I feel like the language is divisive, fearful, and it omits the very important term which is included in state law, which is with the intent to disrupt. I absolutely support rules of decorum, and I have vocalized to many of you here my concerns over the past few months that decorum was not held and people were getting used to speaking out of turn, because I really believe that, you know, we do have to respect those rules of decorum. But existing state law is sufficient if we uphold that to keep meetings peaceful. The language in section XA I don't feel is helpful to the growing divide between you, the commissioners, and we, the people. The actual, in XB, the actual physical restriction of not being able to come forward, I think it just further adds to the division. I think we can have that respect of this physical space and acknowledge that it's by invitation to come to the other side without putting it in writing. I feel like that just creates further division. And what we need is more dialogue rather than less. We're in a dangerous time in this nation and in our world with outside forces that are attempting to divide us and turn us against each other and to strip us of our freedoms. Here in Hawkins County, there's a growing body of concerned citizens that are just newly figuring out how to be engaged. Mistakes have been made. Things have been at times boisterous and contentious, and I do understand the concerns on both sides. But the answer is not to put up barriers. I feel like the answer is to figure out how we can have more dialogue. Some counties have town hall meetings. Some have roundtable discussions on specific issues. Hawkins County, we have nothing. A resolution gets dropped, we read it, we've got maybe a couple weeks to try to get a meeting with our commissioner to discuss it before it comes to a vote. And I feel like we've got a lot of issues in this county that if we figured out how to all work together, educate ourselves on the history of the topic, talk about solutions as a community, we can get great things done in this community. So we can achieve great things. We can make this county a beacon of hope and freedom. That's why my husband and I came here. That's why so many people here and new to Hawkins County came here, is because what was there.
That's your time. You need to wrap it up.
One final sentence? Okay.
Wrap it up, please.
But we have to figure out how to work together and harness this newfound public interest. in how the county is run. Thank you.
Okay, next, I can't read this first name, I'm sorry, last name is Pate. Is it Cody?
Cody.
Cody.
My name is Cody Pate. I'm a Marine Corps Infantry Afghan veteran and DOD and DOS security contractor. I live in Hawkins County in Churchill, 2 houses down from Mark's daughter. I want to start off by letting Nancy Barker know we all saw your attempted smear campaign you put in the Rogersville Review, how you're so frightened for your life during these meetings because some citizens may be carrying. I wonder why you failed to mention the fact that you had at least 8 officers inside, both in and out of uniform with these firearms, as well as a SWAT van outside. Or why you failed to mention how some of you commissioners yourself carried during these meetings. Rules for thee, not for me, I guess. This county was made a constitutional sanctuary. This commission, after having their County Powers Act shut down, decided to introduce Resolution 2023-1106. This resolution is nothing more than a blatant attempt at silencing your constituents and the citizens who are active and oppose your power grab. You claim the resolution was adopted from Tennessee law, TCA 39-17-306, but you fail to mention how you removed key words in order to make the supposed crime even more vague. With the intent to prevent or disrupt has been removed, I'm sure on purpose. Your threatened citizens with almost a year in jail and a $2,500 fine for swearing, which is a protected speech under the First Amendment via the Supreme Court, Cohen v. California. Citizens who clap their hands, whistle, or stamp their feet are criminals under this resolution. This commission is so scared to have their inner workings exposed, you're willing to lock up law-abiding citizens for the same amount of time as certain sex offenders who have special treatment, which I think is disgusting. I've spoke with a civil rights constitutional lawyer, and I will be filing suit against every commissioner who votes for this resolution. Mr. Kern, I'm here to inform you today, I will be running for your spot come next election. You refuse to answer my calls or return them. The people of this county deserve a commissioner who will listen to them and vote for what the people want, not just what you want. I may not be one of your good old boys, and my daddy's daddy wasn't born here, but I believe in freedom, individual liberty, and transparency in all forms of government. You better pray I don't get voted in, because I will expose this commission for what they truly are. Tyrants in disguise. If I go house to house, I'll go house to house if need be, and let people know they'll have actual representation in this county. The last thing I'll ask is if any of you sitting up there have the integrity to admit you were part of the 2017 commission that was threatened by the state for not doing their jobs and balancing the county budget. Something really stinks in this county, and I intend to find out what it is. Thank you for trying to turn this county into a communistic HOA.
All right, thank you. Jack Parker.
Okay, I'd like to speak on Resolution 23-1106 as well, that addresses so-called disruptions to meetings by hand clapping, stomping of feet, whistling, and profane language, or demonstrations that disturb the peace to be prosecuted under Class A as a Class A misdemeanor, supposedly under Tennessee Code 39-17-306. The latter, however, specifies 2 specific criteria for conviction. They are 1, actual intent to prevent or disrupt the meeting, and 2, substantial actual obstruction or interference of a meeting. The resolution totally disregards the issue of intent. Intent is a high bar to prove and doubtful to be met for the conditions that's specified in this resolution. With regard to the substantiality issue, the enumerated list of disallowed behaviors are on their face petty, and unless carried on for a protracted period would not rise to the level of substantial interference. So, before the mayor starts ordering the sheriff to perp walk people out of a meeting, I think it would be wise to consider whether intent to disrupt or substantiality Both can be reasonably argued. Otherwise, the county will need to answer to counter charges of false arrest. Of course, unless the constitutional sheriff we have refused to comply with that request. Furthermore, the listed behaviors in the resolution are protected speech, as was just noted by Cody, which means unless intent and substantiality exist and can be proven, the resolution is unconstitutional. With regard to the catch-all reference in the resolution to other behaviors that, quote, disturb the peace, 2 or more criteria are generally agreed necessary to qualify as disturbing the peace, and those are: 1, most people would agree that the activity in question is unreasonably disruptive, and 2, the activity infringes on an aggrieved party's right to be undisturbed. With regard to the first, I doubt most people would categorize the listed behaviors as unreasonably disruptive. And with regard to the second, this is a public meeting of elected officials and the people who elected them, who wish to see that their interests are considered. Although I hope that all would express their views in a respectful manner, sorry, I lost my place.
You got 10 seconds, Mr. Parker.
So anyway, although I hope that people were respectful, the elected officials certainly cannot make the claim that they have a right to be undisturbed. So in summary, this amendment is not consistent with Tennessee law, existing Tennessee law, or with the U.S. and Tennessee constitutions. And it's disturbing to me to see legislation like this and the failed County Powers Act being proposed by the same commission that passed a resolution making Hawkins County a constitutional sanctuary.
Mr. Parker, your time's up, sir.
So this resolution needs to go to the same burial ground as the Powers Act. And I'd like to say, in closing, I am shocked, just shocked, that the mayor allowed all that clapping at the beginning of this meeting. That is just terrible.
Mr. Parker, your time's up, sir.
Oh, you're full of shit. You can prosecute him for that, too.
All right, next, Dane Chisholm.
Good evening. I'm going to keep it pretty short and sweet. I want to comment on 1101 real quick. I hope that you will vote support for 21 commissioners. I believe more commissioners means more thorough and likely more accurate representation. An individual claiming to represent conservative values would support this motion. Decentralization of power is essential. And as far as the argument that it impacts the budget, I believe the impact is negligible compared to other issues on the budget, so please consider that. I signed up to speak on 1106, the disruptions. I know you've heard quite a bit about that already. I think just once again the recurring theme is intentional ambiguity in the language. I mean, you guys obviously strategically removed an important sense in there with the intent part. That opens up the floodgates to penalize and criminalize any individual who presents any support or disagreement, essentially, to be fined in jail. That doesn't seem very soundly conservative, and I think our founders and framers would meet you with some serious resistance on that idea. It's kind of the antithesis of free speech and communication between citizenry and those who represent it. I believe our honorable sheriff would not entertain enforcing such a vague shenanigans-style attempt to suppress free speech, which happens to fall under the highest obligation he has, the Constitution. And I can't help but feel that this current commission, with the County Power Act in the past and some of the things you're doing now, or at least its leadership, intends to follow the precedent for the decaying of rights that has been set by our higher government. It's a choice. You don't have to do that. So I will finish this with a quote by one of our greatest patriots, Sam Adams. I love this quote. I think you will too. I think it speaks volumes onto what our organization, United Citizens of Hawkins County, at least, has been doing recently. If ever the time should come when vain and aspiring men shall possess the highest seats in government, our country will stand in need of its experienced patriots to prevent its ruin. United Citizens of Hawkins County intends to continue to be those experienced patriots. We look forward to having a good relationship with you, and hopefully we can establish some dialogue. I think Bernadette hit the nail on the head there earlier. We need to be able to talk a little bit more instead of having everything be so combative up here. Find out about a resolution, then we have to oppose it in 3 minutes. And I also think, I suppose I will finish with one more thing. How many speakers we have today? 5, 6, 7, 3 minutes? Maybe consider extending it to 5 minutes. I know Robert's Rules of Order starts at 10 minutes. Somehow we've decayed down to 3 minutes. I don't see that it would be too inconvenient for you guys to listen to a few more minutes of people be able to discuss. I think less pressure can make people be less confrontational. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. On to Resolution 2023-1106, introduced by Commissioner Barker.
To the Honorable Mark DeWitt and members of the Hawkins County Board of Commission in regular session notice 27th day of November 2023. Resolution in reference, updated rules of order for the Hawkins County Board of Commissioners. Whereas the September 26, 2022, the Hawkins County Board of Commission adopted a document setting forth an updated version of the rules of order for themselves, and whereas said documents upon review need a number of housekeeping type edits and need a section referring to the new rules as the state has imposed concerning meeting notices, which are noted in red on the attached document. And whereas all governing bodies are in need of rules of order to be followed in conducting business, and whereas the Personnel Committee, using the guidelines suggested by the County Technical Assistance Service, has reviewed and recommended the attached new rules and orders for the Hawkins County Board of Commission. Now therefore be it resolved that the Hawkins County Board of Commission approve the updated rules of order attached, and that such rules and orders are adopted in the effect of as of date of approval, and thereby replace the rules of order approved in 2022. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
All right, motion from Commissioner Barker, second Commissioner Kern. Commissioner Clonto, first on the board.
I heard someone speak here tonight about a state resolution, state rules and regulations. Do they cover what we're trying to do here? Tell me what the difference is. Do we know?
They're included in the new
Okay.
section. Is that it?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
I'd like to amend this resolution on section XA to include any person that prevents or intends to disrupt any meeting, putting in intent to disrupt.
Okay, we've got an amendment. Mr. Palmer, could you repeat that, please, for the clerk?
Under section XA, to include any person, on the first part, any person that prevents or intends to disrupt any meeting. So just intends to, right there after
All right, we've got an amendment on the floor from Commissioner Palmer. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Okay. While you're doing that, any questions on the amendment?
Second by Commissioner Kitten.
Correct.
Mark, can I speak on that?
In just a second.
Robbie, can you push your motion to amend? Do you have that on your screen?
I don't have that.
Because we've got so many speakers, probably. And they just have to do it.
I'll cancel mine.
Just we'll just do voice. Just hit the-
Okay, we've got
voice.
a motion to amend in a second. Now, is there any discussion on the amendment itself?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
So my question is, Commissioner Palmer, and I guess Ms. Barker as well, can we not just lift the actual law itself and place it there and just quote it word for word? Because and I'm going to read just the section, okay? So it says 3917-306A, a person commits an offense if, with the intent to prevent or disrupt a lawful meeting, procession, or gathering, the person substantially obstructs or interferes with the meeting, procession, or gathering by physical action or verbal utterance. So that kind of includes everything that's in there. It just kind of makes it more concise. And secondly, a violation of this section is a Class A misdemeanor. And I asked that question because, number one, it's already in state statute. But number two, and Commissioner Barker, you might be able to help me with this anyway. If it's already in TCA, it's already written there, is it not enforceable whether or not it's in the bylaws as it is?
Yes.
So it doesn't necessarily, I mean, the fact is, and please call me out of order if I'm getting off topic here, but the fact is we are not making anything illegal with this section in these bylaws. The county commission is not creating, we cannot legislate criminal law. The state of Tennessee doesn't give us the ability to do that. All we can do is cite standing state law, and we can quote it. We can quote law in this all we want to. But in my opinion, Mr. Palmer, to your amendment, I'm not going to make a move. I'm not going to move to amend the amendment. I just lift it all out and put A and D in there.
That's fine.
And that's up to you if you want to do that.
That's fine.
So are you changing your amendment to lift the whole thing?
To lift the whole thing and just insert the
Full law. Just 3917-306, Section A and Section B. And just have the law as written. As Roman numeral 10.
3917-306.
306, A and B.
Okay, thank you.
So just to clarify, what's written will be lifted, and that state law will just be cited verbatim in Roman numeral 10.
Okay, do we have a second to that amendment?
Hold on just a second. I'm not going to move to amend the amendment. Do you want to change?
Yeah, he said he was going to change.
Yeah, we'll change it.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, and Commissioner Gill seconds.
Okay.
All right. Any comments on the amendment itself?
My question was just basically what Commissioner
We'll have to
Rogers.
do it by voice vote. 'cause it's
Okay, we're going to do a
4 hours.
voice vote on the amendment itself. This is only on the amendment.
Mr.
Never
Hold on.
mind, that's all right.
Mr.
I was just echoing what you already said, Jessica. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, this is the vote on
That
the
she
amendment.
was on for the whole thing. So we'll get back to the whole thing after we do the amendment itself.
Okay. Commissioner Gillum,
Yes.
Commissioner Trent,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
Commissioner Klontz,
I'm going to abstain because I don't understand what we're trying to do. I don't, to me, like, if we got a TCA code from Tennessee, stuff like that would we always have to adopt. We don't have to put the resolution.
Your vote
in
is
there.
abstain, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Commissioner Barker,
Yes.
Commissioner Thacker, Commissioner Palmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Alvis,
No.
Commissioner Barrett,
Yes.
Commissioner Roach,
Yes.
Commissioner Gibson,
Yes.
and Commissioner Riley.
Yes.
I'd like to change my vote. All right? No. 3 no, 1 abstain, 9 yes.
Okay, so the amendment is passed, and now we're on to the resolution as amended. Commissioner Gillum, do you still wish to speak on that?
Yes, I do. I would like to make a motion to amend this to remove, it's in section 9, letter B, letter B. If several citizens appear to speak on the same topic or issue, chairman will have the authority to ask the group to appoint 1 to 3 citizens to speak on the issue. I'd like to make a motion to remove that from the rules, please.
All right, we've got a motion to amend to strike 9B. Do we have a second?
Just a second.
Second from Commissioner Alves. Any discussion on that amendment itself?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The reason for that, I don't think that any of us sitting up here have the ability to determine what, if 2 people, I mean, we heard several people speak on the same resolution tonight, but however, while most of them were opposed to something to do with this resolution, it was very different perspectives. And I think it would be, it's not a good thing for us to say, well, we've heard enough about that resolution, so only 2 or 3 of you get to speak. And I understand that wouldn't be common practice necessarily, but I don't like that rule. I feel like it would be best if it wasn't in there.
All right, we've got a motion to amend and a second. Any other comments on that amendment itself? Do a voice vote, please.
You got,
Just a second.
oh, I'm sorry, I was high to speak, I didn't want to speak on that amendment. You know, when I see folks come to the meetings, I feel like we need to hear, if folks don't agree with something, and there's more than one, I do want to hear what they have to say. And I know that sometimes it makes us listen a little longer. I was accused once, in probably one of the toughest meetings that we were in, of not paying attention, when in reality I take notes on everything y'all say. So I love hearing from you all. I know that I'm not always going to vote the way that some of you think I should, but I still want to hear what you have to say because I think it does matter. So I actually do support this amendment, and I would like to see an opportunity for folks, if you want to be engaged and talk to your legislative body, that you should be able to. You have 5 fundamental rights in the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. One of those is to petition your government for redress, or to ask them to answer for what they do. And so I do support this amendment. I hope everybody else does too.
Any other comments? Ms. Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Palmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett,
Yes.
Commissioner Barker,
Yes.
Commissioner Gibson,
Yes.
Commissioner Roach,
Yes.
Commissioner Thacker, Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
Commissioner Trent? No. Commissioner Alvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Klontz?
No.
Commissioner Gillum?
Yes.
Commissioner Riley?
Yes.
10 yes, 3 no.
All right, that amendment has passed, and we're going to strike that section B of section 9. Okay. Now, back to the resolution as it's been amended. Commissioner Trent?
Okay, first of all, I want to recognize Chief Deputy Allen. He understands that part of the oath. Did you not have your hand up to speak earlier? Well, you had it up. I don't know what you were doing, waving it, maybe. But anyway, the Sheriff's Department has jurisdiction over the courthouse. Chairman of the commission has the right to, or, well, not the right to, but he's to maintain the meetings and keep them running in order. The sheriff is not told what to do by us. He follows the rule of the law that comes under the Sheriff's Department. And I'm just going to say it bluntly, I think this is a bunch of bull. That's my statement.
Okay, is that it?
That's it.
Commissioner Klontz?
I'm gonna make a motion, to lay this on the table,
Thank you.
put it together, and bring it back, give us time to look it over before we vote on this.
Second that motion.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to table this
Mr. Chair,
resolution.
to lay on the table is a temporary motion.
Yeah, you'd have to pick it back up at the same meeting.
You can
You
suspend
can
it
postpone it.
or postpone it, that's correct.
Okay.
Mr. Klontz, you can postpone it.
Postpone it to the next meeting.
Okay.
This is a motion.
Put all this together and give all of us time to look it over.
Okay, motion to postpone Commissioner Gibson, you still second? Okay, we've got a motion and a second to postpone. Any comments or questions? All right, one more time, call the vote.
If it does get postponed, will there be an opportunity for a roundtable or a townhouse to discuss it?
Everybody's looking at me. Mr. Chairman, my question to that would be, according to Tennessee state law, if we gather together commissioners for the purpose of conducting government business, we would have to pay them. Is that not correct?
Yes.
Do we have funds budgeted in our, and I'm asking this question because I know the answer is no, but we haven't budgeted for other meetings in addition to those that are scheduled, correct? So if we look to have town hall meetings and meetings of that sort, it's going to increase those line items that we haven't budgeted for at this point.
You charge $1.
Charge a dollar.
This is the volunteer state, right?
We don't have to be paid.
We don't.
We don't have to be paid.
I would be happy, to meet with folks. I'm happy to do that. I don't know that we can call a commission meeting that is a town hall according to state law and not pay commissioners. I don't know that we can. That's my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
What if we had a town hall an hour before a commission meeting? To where, everybody's not having to make 2 trips, and you have a set amount of time before this meeting will start, I think.
It's still a special called meeting and they'd have to be paid for it.
Well, I understand that.
For what?
At least you wouldn't have to have mileage twice.
We don't get paid mileage.
I think.
They don't get paid mileage.
Well, I think it would be good that, regardless whether it's before or a separate meeting, the cost would be minimal anyway, because the people that are coming here obviously are concerned with it.
Understand, Sergeant?
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. We have a motion on the floor to postpone. We need to vote on that to see if this is even a thing.
We've got a motion and a second, it's discussion time.
I call for the question.
Okay.
I wonder why we don't just dismiss it altogether. If it's already state law, why do you guys need a resolution for it? And why don't you guys listen to your constituents? They don't want it.
Simple.
Okay. Now, Commissioner Gillum.
Oh, you're good. We call for question. So we can vote.
Okay. The motion on the floor is to suspend the adoption of these rules of order, and we have a second on the board, and a vote on the board. Okay,
We can do it by voice. I'm just saying you need to clear your speakers if nobody else is listening.
everybody done?
Don't we have, Commissioner Claunch's made a motion to postpone, didn't he?
Yes.
Did die for lack of a second.
No, we got a second.
So
Second.
that's what we're voting.
That's what.
Yes. We're voting on postponing.
I'll do it by voice vote.
Okay, voice vote.
Motion to postpone, motion by Larry Clontz, second by John Gibson. Commissioner Thacker?
Yes.
Commissioner Clontz?
Yes.
Commissioner Kern?
Yes.
Commissioner Riley?
Yes.
Commissioner Gibson?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Alvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Barker?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Commissioner Trent?
Yes.
Commissioner Palmer?
Yes.
Commissioner Roach?
Yes.
Commissioner Gillum?
Yes.
13 yes.
Okay. 2023-1106 has been postponed.